Hi, welcome back to Wolfmix 101, looking at the Wolfmix W1 DMX controller and how easy it is to program it. We're looking at this in simple 2-minute to 3-minute lessons, breaking it down into easy stages, so if there's something you need that you can't quite get your head around, you can jump straight to that video. We have already covered adding fixtures, making fixtures, adding fixtures from the Wolf Tools app, the colour effects, the movement effects, and now we're going to jump in to the beam effects. The beam effects are very clever. It's like having a controller over a shutter, or the shutter on a moving head. It's not just for movers, it controls anything with a light source to it. So from the main page we jump into beam effects, and this starts to look complicated. It's not. These top row of buttons are the lights that you want to affect, and what I've done is I've dimmed everything down on the visualizer apart from the top row of moving heads and the bottom row of moving heads to give you an idea as to how this is done. So we're going to affect those, and we're going to look at the first part, which is a sine wave. It's a really nice, just gentle flash between them that you can speed up and slow down. There's a sparkle effect. It'll run from side to side. There's a kind of a disco effect, a heartbeat effect, and this is where it gets really clever when you look into the next ones, which, would you believe, are editable by yourself. So to do that, you can see the buttons flashing along the bottom. We're going to go into edit mode, and this is where you learn to edit these. You can edit the colour effects the same way, and you can edit the beam effects the same way. As you can see, once you go into edit mode, there's a play button on the top, and it's flashing through each of the 8 steps of the program that's there. So to start off, you press the play button and that pauses everything for you. We're going to bring it back to step 1, which from the visualizer you can see is the bottom moving heads turned on. You've probably guessed these are each of the groups, and at the moment just one group's lit up. So if we go over, that gives you the top moving heads group, which is group B. Group C, it moves on again, and we're not using group C, so what we'll do is we'll turn that all off, but we'll turn the bottom moving heads on. And as you can see, once again, the clever computer inside works out how many lights are in that group, and you're affecting with each button how many of them turn on. So if I go across one more to 4, that moves on, 4th step, that moves on to the 4th group that we're not using. So what I'll do is we'll turn the top moving heads on again. The next program will have all the moving heads on, and the next program will have all the moving heads off. Finally, we'll give it one more flash on the top moving heads and one more flash on the bottom moving heads. It's as simple as adding them with the buttons. Once you've got that far, you can then hit play and you can check out the program you've created. Top, bottom, top, all of them off, bottom, top, bottom, top. As you can see, it working its way through the steps until it gets to the all on or the all off stage that we programmed. That will then stay in your movement, in your beam effects, as part of your programming. The beam effects can be controlled. If I pick a program like the sine wave, you've got speed as the internal clock. You've got again the BPM counter, which works off the tap. As you see them start to slow down. And on the tap, or the software input for the BPM, you can control every 8th beat, every 4th beat, every second, or every beat for how fast they change. The next one is the internal mic, and as you can see, as I tap it, you can see the mic flash on the screen, and it's changing on the visualizer in time with my tap. Again, beam effects I like to control on the BPM or on the internal clock, preferably the BPM, but I will only usually use the beam effects with a static scene, and we'll show you how to do that in a second in another lesson. The phase, again, you can control whether they all flash together or whether we're going to move the phase in between each light so that each one comes on ever so slightly behind the other one. And the fade is whether they fade on or off, or whether the shutter is a straight, solid, jerked shutter, open and shut. Again, you select the groups that you want to be affected with the top row, and then when you go back to your home page, you can add beam effects to the movement, to the colour, but I usually tend to use either colour or beam effects, not both of them at once. Until the next lesson, when we start looking at the overrides and the solos, I shall see you soon.